Okay. Hi, Scott Taylor here, the Data Whisperer. I help people tell their data story to help support and get strategic support and funding for proper data management.
All right, well, hi Scott. Thank you for joining me here on Humans of Data Science. Super excited to have you here. And the first question I'll ask you is actually not on my list, it's about your hat. Tell me about the truth.
The truth. It's all about the truth. Finding good data, mastering data, making data accessible across the enterprise. It's always about finding the truth. And I think when you look at the data space, I divide it pretty cleanly between truth and meaning. So truth is data management. Truth is foundational master data stuff. That's my space. Meaning is analytics, machine learning, BI, data science, all the wonderful stuff you get from data.
That's
but
my
I'm
space.
pretty, yeah, but that's your space, right? So that's why we're connected and overlap a little bit. But I feel like people have to determine the truth first before they derive meaning. Otherwise, that meaning is meaningless. So I'm all about the truth.
Thank you. So the first actual question I have prepared for you is, why are you known as the Data Whisperer? How did this come about? Is this kind of like the dog whisperer? Caesar Milan?
Yes, it is. I think he was the first, like, there was a horse whisperer, right? And then there was the dog whisperer. And I think whispering in a lot of ways helps calm things down. That's the first thing you want to do, is calm things down and then manage them and then have them work to your benefit. So I feel like with data, it needs to get calmed down. It's big, it's unruly, it's unstructured, it's dirty, it's messy, it's corrupt, it's all these crazy things. And we just got to calm it down. And while I consider myself the data whisperer, there are lots of data whisperers out there. We're all data whisperers in the data management space. So I hope people kind of take that to heart and try and be the data whisperer for their organization.
Yeah, I love it. A lot of times when I talk about you or refer to you, I think of you as the Data Whisperer before I think of you as Scott Taylor. So it's actually
Okay. Well, the branding's working too. It's also kind of a messy
working.
brand. People like it. I put it on my badge. I purposely put in bad data when I go to conferences because they'll print your company name, which for me is Meta Consulting, but I want them to print the Data Whisperer. So I flip the title and the company on purpose.
You're confused them. You're giving them bad data quality.
I am, but you know, it's for a greater purpose. What can I tell you?
So I've seen you on multiple occasions with toys on your hands, well, puppets on your hands. Can you talk a little bit more about how the puppets come to? Oh, there you go.
Or as we like to call them, the pod puppets of data science. How's that? So this is Dean. This is the ITB. He's good at buzzwords. I've got a guy who's definitely become popular, the Chief Dog Officer, CDO. That seems to have struck a chord with folks. I got a few other ones around here. But yes, I think it's a great way to kind of break through the clutter. So you saw this puppet show. It went absolutely wild. I got a couple more in production here, various different ways. I've got one with a cat. He's going to be a cat sultant from Meow Kinsey. So we get to kind of poke fun at the consulting space. I got something with tools that I'm working on. I'm looking over there, an ant list. So, you know, it's kind of corny.
With the puppets. Tell the world what's up with the puppets. What's happening?
The puppets are the Tech Talk puppets. They're my little group. They're my voice that I kind of bring out of myself to really be able to talk about things that probably a human of data science shouldn't talk about, but a puppet of data science should talk about, because it's really, in a lot of ways, poking fun at the technology space that we're in. Lots of buzzwords, lots of people talking about crazy stuff, and yet all these puppet shows end up with, well, where's the data? Who's got the data? Because for me, it's all about the data. It's all about the truth. And yeah, I posted the first one in October, and it just went wild. People just loved it. It really seemed to strike a chord with folks. And what I find particularly hilarious is that it's puppets, right? Yeah. But I get all these comments from people about, this is my life. I just left that meeting. Yeah. This is what I do all day. These are people I work with. And I go, it's puppets, remember that. But it seems to have hit a chord with folks, which is thrilling.
Yeah, I think, well, I see it as part of your branding, you know, the Data Whisperer, aka the guy with the puppets. So
the guy with the puppet, whatever it takes. You know, I can write white papers. I pride myself in having a pretty decent range, So I can go white papers to puppet shows, but guess which one gets more engagement?
The white papers?
Maybe. We got a second choice?
Yes, so I think the work that you do is great. And I actually want you to talk a lot about master data management. So I wanted you to give your explanation of why do you think it's so important to get master data management right in an organization?
And I actually draw a bit of a distinction between MDM, master data management, and master data as the outcome of that management process. But regardless, data governance, data management, MDM, RDM, metadata, reference data, master data, all those foundational pieces are exactly that, foundational pieces. You've got to build something on a strong foundation. And there's a lot of people doing great work out there, but if you put good work on a bad foundation, what do? You get bad work.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how great it was. If a great thing is built on something that's bad, then that great thing isn't going to be as great. And so I try and boil it down and really simplify it, because master data and data management for me doesn't get enough attention, and yet it's so critical.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what Meta Data Consulting, like what do you do with that company? And I know you mentioned the 3 Vs of a tech brand. So if you could talk a bit about those 2 things.
Wonderful. Yeah. So Meta Consulting, we're about what it's about. We help people tell their data story. So again, something very close to you, data storytelling.
Yep.
But again, I draw this distinction. So there's data storytelling, which is with analytics, how to produce results, how to be literate in the data you're looking at, how to make sure your business folks understand and are fluent in it. All these great, wonderful things around data literacy and data storytelling. I say before that, you got to tell your data story, which is why is data important to your organization holistically, strategically, fundamentally. So you can't get the funding for the great data science, data storytelling stuff unless you get the funding for the data management part first. Because again, garbage in, garbage out, we can go through it 900 different ways. So we help people tell their data story. We work with service providers who are all trying to sell or position data management or data-oriented products, but we also work with enterprises who are trying to get more strategic support for their data governance and data management efforts. So I'm working with an enterprise right now, Fortune 1000 company. It's a good place to start. And what they wanted was strategic mentoring for their data governance program, which is literally, what's our story? How do we convince the CEO of this? How do we convince the board that this is really vital? It's not a project, it's a program, that it's part of the organization in a way that data hasn't really been thought of.
And then can you touch on the 3 Vs? I believe it was vocabulary, voice, and
vision. Yeah, perfect. So a framework, an easy framework to use when you try and create this data story is to look at what I call the 3 Vs of big data story telling. Play on the 3 Vs of big data, obviously, but vocabulary, voice, and vision. So first thing is you want to establish a common vocabulary, and every enterprise has that. What do they call a customer? What do they call a market? What do they call their categories? What do they call the piece parts and the entities that are part of their business? Very simple in the beginning to get confused. So if everybody has a different definition of customer, or some people call it a client, or some people call it an account, you're off in the wrong direction immediately. So establish the vocabulary first. Then you want to harmonize to a common voice. What's the story you and your organization are telling about why data is so important? So you should have an elevator pitch. You should have a standard way to explain it. You should be able to, if you meet up with the CEO in the lunchroom, give them their 1-minute pitch on here's why data is so important to this organization, and here's why data management in particular is critical. And then vision. How do you enable the vision of your own enterprise? How do you align with the strategic intentions of your company? And so it's tying these data management principles directly to where the company's trying to go. So you may have a vision for your own data management project, but it's more around tying it to the vision of your company. So set the vocabulary, harmonize to a voice, and support the common vision. And those are just techniques to socialize and get more support as you evangelize your project across your organization.
And then you get to the 4th V of victory.
Victory, yes. Victory, value, whatever you want. A lot of V's there, as we all know.
Yes, I know. All right, so Scott, what do you enjoy doing outside of playing with puppets and data management?
I was just going to grab another puppet there. So puppets are obviously fun. I love, as you've probably seen, I love editing. So a lot of the video editing I do is actually more the hobby side of my brain than the business side of my brain.
Okay.
I go all the way back to Super 8 films, so that can date me there all you want. What you can't see on the other side of this camera is this huge harbor that I live on Long Island Sound. So I do a lot of kayaking out there,
Oh, nice.
which is a blast. There's boats in the summer. I live in this fabulous place called Black Rock in Connecticut. And keep up with my kids who are all grown now and having their own lives. But it's really, I have so much fun doing what I'm doing now, focusing on the stuff that literally my whole career I've had the most fun at. I don't want to sound too hackneyed about this, but I have a ball doing these events, doing speaking. I get to do puppet shows. So
I love it. I love it. So where can people go to learn more about you, and how can they contact you if they wanted to, ask you more questions?
then go right to LinkedIn. So I got a great profile in there. Find me, Scott Taylor, the Data Whisperer. If you Google the Data Whisperer, I should come up in the first, at least above the fold.
Nice.
YouTube, I got a ton of videos in there. And I got a okay website, MetaMeta Consulting. You can certainly write me from there. We're working on making that better. But really, last year was kind of a test year to see if I could make a go at this. And it's clear that I've got a following. I've got a particular point of view that people like, and it resonates with them. And I've been able to acquire enough sponsorship to say, okay, I'm making a full-time go of this. So it's a blast. So I got to fix the website for sure. But find me on LinkedIn, absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for your time. It's been really great getting to know you better.
Great, Kate. Always great to talk to you too. Thanks so much.